when I declared my candidacy, it was in 2014, September. And prior to doing that, most people would ask me what actually motivated you to do that. I was an introvert, I still am. Was a mother, a wife, and someone who was really not interested in politics. But I was always cognizant of the fact that we needed a change in Somalia. And like so many of us, I always thought that change was elsewhere. Someone else had to come and do that and make things better so that we can go back to Somalia. And I had been waiting for almost 26 years for that person to come forward and do that. And when I actually realized maybe I was that person and I would have to step out of my comfort zone and declare my candidacy, with the full knowledge that after doing that, my life would never be the same. I would have to sacrifice a lot of things, one of which is my privacy and the privacy of my own family and many other things. But I never realized how many things I would have to give up in order to take that journey. And looking back, I actually don't regret doing that. What have I seen as a result of stepping forward? What I've seen is actually a great deal of insecurity. As a result of coming forward, I actually got a lot of death threats. None of the male candidates were threatened, but I was getting very specific threats. If it weren't, targeting me, it was targeting my children, which was very shocking and really traumatizing as a mother, knowing that what I was doing was also going to really impact my own children and perhaps put them at risk. The same insecurity prevented me from being able to go to the different regions to speak to the Somalis living in those regions, because without proper funding and networks, you cannot actually travel to these regions. And because I had declared a war against the clan-based system in Somalia, I was no longer part of the clan system. Fast, because I was a woman, the moment you are married by another person from another clan, you no longer belong to your clan. And second, because I was very vocal against the clan-based system, which is really seen as the only viable system in Somalia. And thirdly, because some quarters of people were misusing religion to say that I was an infidel and I should be killed just because I happened to step forward. That was a death sentence in itself. And the order was there that people could actually execute me for doing that. And so this were the challenges that I saw. But the biggest challenge was really corruption. Whenever I spoke to people who were in politics, who were in power, the first thing they would ask me was, what do you have for us? Do you have money? They were not interested in my vision for Somalia, what I had to offer. What they were really interested in was, who is behind you? Which foreign power has brought you here? And how much do you have? And how much can you pay? And I couldn't go beyond that. That was the most frustrating. And it was the biggest obstacle that I was facing. And lastly, really, the other obstacle was the lack of network, because I've been out of the country for many, many years. And because there was the sentiment that people coming from the diaspora were coming to exploit the ones who stayed back, who couldn't leave. And now that we had some sort of a semblance of peace, we were coming back to exploit the situation. So coming from the diaspora was actually seen as a huge problem, which was really a contradiction, because 70% of the cabinet was comprised of people from the diaspora, but it wasn't enough that I came from the diaspora, but I think also really the reason why the diaspora was being used as an excuse was also because of my gender. A lot of people could not understand why I would want to step forward. I mean, after all, my place is at home. And we have a proverb in the Somali language, a woman's place is either at home or in a grave. And I was trying to negotiate a space that would be in between. But some people are very adamant that they would expedite my journey to the grave, because clearly I do not understand where I belong. And that led to a lot of problems. I mean, I lost a lot of friends, personal relationships, because of the fact that I did not believe that my place was at home. I believe it is in the public sphere as well as in the private sphere. And so, I don't know. In a nutshell, would I do it again? Yes, I would. Because I believe 12 million Somalis deserve it. I believe they deserve peace, they deserve dignity, and they deserve prosperity. And so, come 2020, we have democratic elections, yes, I will be running again. The reason is also the 4.5 clan-based system, which is not premised on the Somali constitution. It's something that has been used as a temporary measure, but that continues to be used for the past 26 years. And when I had declared my candidacy, it was with the understanding we were going to have one person, one vote. And elections, it's only a year and a half after I had declared my interest that the government reverted back to the 4.5 clan-based system. Now, this is a system that really segregates Somalis. It's very akin to the the apartheid system. It's a system that believes that the 4 major clans are ethnically pure, while the 0.5 or the subhumans are the marginalized clans. And how can one come into office really through unconstitutional means and then demand that the citizen adheres to, or respects the rule of law and should, abide by the law when they themselves have not done that? And I actually seriously believe that Africa needs leaders who can walk the talk and who can be good, example that people can feel proud of, and proud to call them as their leaders. And so, because I realized that I have 10, 15, 20 years to go, I was willing to not legitimize something that was unrealistic and unconstitutional. And so I decided to withdraw and do something else outside of politics. And what I'm going to do to make sure that we democratize Somalia is to work on democracy, on transparency, and human rights. And that will happen in the civil society as an independent entity. And what I will try to do is to work with whichever administration that comes into power to ensure that at least they can be held accountable.